There are moments in life when people you once laughed with suddenly feel distant. Groups you used to belong to stop including you, and friendships you thought would last forever fade without warning. At first, it feels painful. You question everything, wondering what you did wrong. But what if the reason wasn't something you did, but something Allah was doing for you? Sometimes the people who leave were never meant to stay. And sometimes Allah removes you from certain groups, not to punish you, but to protect you. He sees what you cannot. He hears the conversations when you're not around. And most of all, He knows the effect they have on your soul. In this video, we'll uncover 4 powerful signs that Allah took you away from a group to protect your heart, your faith, and your future. This might just be the explanation your heart has been searching for. Your faith started getting weak around them. Sometimes people come into your life and everything feels exciting. They may seem kind, funny, or supportive. You enjoy their company, you laugh together, and you start spending more and more time with them. But deep inside, you begin to feel something isn't right. Your heart begins to whisper, gently but constantly, that you're changing, not in a good way. You start to feel far from the peace you once had, far from the connection you once felt with your prayers, with your values, and most importantly, with Allah. You didn't stop praying overnight. You didn't forget the Quran in one day. But slowly, day by day, your priorities began to shift. The conversations that once made you feel clean began to include gossip, judgment, or laughter at sinful things. You started staying up too late, missing your Fajr prayer. You felt too embarrassed to say you wanted to pray when everyone else was busy talking. Even if no one directly told you to change, you started to shift just to fit in. And that's when the loss began, not outside, but inside your soul. This is how it happens sometimes. You surround yourself with people who might not be bad in the eyes of the world, but they begin to push your heart away from Allah. You feel distant, you feel heavy, you no longer cry in your prayers, you no longer rush to make dua. And the most painful part is, you don't even notice how far you've drifted until something forces you to stop and look at your life. That something is usually heartbreak. That something is usually disconnection. That something is usually Allah pulling you out before you fall deeper. One day, you wake up and realize those friends don't talk to you anymore. The group doesn't invite you. You feel like they've abandoned you. You cry, thinking you did something wrong. But dear soul, that was not rejection, that was protection. Allah saw the state of your heart, the struggles you were hiding, the strength you were losing, and He knew that if you stayed in that environment any longer, your light would go out. So He removed you, not to punish you, but to bring you back to Him. That separation was a lifeline. That silence from them was a signal from above. This is when your healing begins. You start praying again, and this time the words feel heavier, more real. You sit in sujood and feel the tears flowing again. You hear a verse from the Quran, and it enters your heart like a cure. You begin to feel like yourself again. Not the person they shaped you into, but the person you were before. The one who loved Allah, who felt peace in His remembrance, who found light in the smallest acts of worship. That version of you was never lost. It was just waiting to be rescued. So yes, it hurt when you were removed. It hurt to be left out. It hurt to feel alone. But look at what you've gained. You gained silence that brought you closer to your soul. You gained nights where your only company was Allah. You gained clarity, strength, and a new type of happiness, the happiness that comes from knowing that even when the world turns away, your Lord never does. Even when people stop seeing your value, Allah continues to guide and protect you in ways you don't even understand. Maybe you're watching this video right now, still feeling confused, still feeling rejected. But take this as your sign. If your faith was getting weaker around certain people and now you're no longer with them, say Alhamdulillah. Say it with your heart. Say it with trust. You were not abandoned. You were rescued. You were saved. You were loved by Allah enough to be pulled away before more damage was done to your soul. Let go of the idea that every friendship must last forever. Some people are just part of your journey, not your destination. Their role was to show you what pulls you away from your purpose and then let you walk alone toward it. And when you walk toward your Lord, you are never walking alone. He is with you every step, replacing what you lost with something far better, even if you can't see it yet. 2. They spoke against your growth and values. There will be moments in your life when you decide to change, not for the world, not for attention, but for Allah. You begin to feel a spark inside you. Maybe you start praying more often. Maybe you try to stop listening to music. Maybe you decide to wear modest clothing or speak more gently. These changes might seem small to others, but for you, they are huge steps. They come from the heart, and they take courage. But sometimes, the people around you don't see it that way. Instead of supporting your growth, they question it, they mock it, they laugh at it, and worst of all, they try to pull you back into the person you used to be. It hurts, doesn't it? You expect your friends to cheer you on, to understand your journey, to love your effort. But instead, they throw words at you that crush your soul. Why are you acting so holy now? You think you're better than us? This won't last long. These words don't just sting, they create doubt inside you. You start questioning yourself. Am I going too far? Am I doing something wrong? Should I just go back to who I was so I don't lose them? But in those moments of pain and confusion, remember this: when people speak against your growth, it says more about them than about you. It shows that your light is disturbing their comfort. Your change is a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see in it. Some people feel threatened when they see you getting closer to Allah, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because it reminds them of how far they are. And instead of joining you, they try to stop you. They try to bring you back so they don't feel left behind. But you don't owe your old self to anyone. You don't have to go backwards just to make others comfortable. You are not here to please people. You are here to please Allah. And when you sincerely try to improve for His sake, even if everyone walks away from you, Allah will never leave you. In fact, He may be the one who is removing you from that group, not to break you, but to protect your soul from those who want to stop your growth. You see, there's a hidden mercy in being separated from those who don't support your values. It may feel like rejection, but in reality, it's direction. Allah is redirecting you to people who will nourish your soul, not drain it. People who will remind you of prayer, not distract you from it. People who will correct you gently, not shame you for trying. You deserve that kind of company, and more importantly, your heart needs it. So if you find yourself alone after trying to better your faith, smile. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because it's a sign that you are being guided. You are walking the path that many fear to take. You are choosing light in a world that often chooses darkness. That takes strength. That takes faith. And that takes the kind of courage that not everyone understands, but Allah sees it, and He will reward it in ways you cannot even imagine. You must never let the noise of people drown out the voice of your conscience. When your soul is at peace with your decisions, when your heart feels lighter, purer, and more connected to your Lord, that's all the proof you need that you're on the right path. Don't turn back just because the crowd isn't following you. The path to Allah is often walked alone at first, but those who stay sincere eventually find others walking it too. And if ever you feel small for leaving behind people who were once so close to you, remind yourself why you did it. You did it for your soul. You did it for your peace. You did it for your relationship with the one who created you, who knows every tear you've cried in frustration, every sacrifice you've made in silence, and every word of insult you've endured with patience. And He will never forget it. 3. You always felt spiritually drained around them. There are some people who make your soul feel alive, calm, and close to Allah. And then there are others. They may smile with you, joke with you, and spend time with you, but every time you leave them, your heart feels heavier. Not your body, not your mind, but your heart. You feel disconnected, confused, and spiritually lost, and you don't always know why. This is not a small feeling. It's your inner world sending you a message. It's your soul whispering that something is wrong. The people you surround yourself with matter deeply, not just in how they treat you, but in how they affect your relationship with Allah. If you constantly leave a gathering feeling farther from your Creator, that's a red flag your heart can't afford to ignore. You might be with them for hours, talking, laughing, eating, even doing nothing, but somehow, by the time you leave, you feel drained. You don't feel spiritually refreshed or uplifted. Instead, you feel like something inside you has been taken away, not added. That emptiness, that dryness in your chest, it's not about being tired physically. It's your ruh, your soul, that's exhausted from being in an environment that doesn't feed it. There are certain signs that your soul is suffering in silence. You start praying less. You stop talking about faith. You avoid opening the Quran. You stop thinking about Jannah and the hereafter. You begin to drown in distractions. You laugh, but the laughter feels hollow. You smile, but your heart feels empty. That group, even if it looks innocent from the outside, is slowly pulling you into spiritual darkness, little by little. And one day, Allah decides that enough is enough. So he separates you. And that separation, even if it hurts, is your lifeline. You might not understand it at first. One day they stop messaging, they stop including you, or maybe you had an argument that ended it all. You sit there wondering what happened. You blame yourself. You replay everything in your head. But what you don't realize is that while you're hurting over people, your soul is finally breathing again. Your spirit is no longer trapped in a place that was crushing its light. Allah, out of His mercy, sometimes removes you from those who were draining your heart, just so you could remember what peace feels like again. He doesn't want your light to die. He doesn't want your prayer to fade. He doesn't want your Imaan to fall apart. So He gently pulls you out, even if it means you cry for a while. He knows that in the silence of separation, your healing will begin. You'll start to feel it slowly. The heaviness in your chest begins to fade. Your prayers become more focused. You pick up the Quran again. You remember your goals. You begin to talk to Allah more. And most importantly, you feel lighter. Not because you lost a group, but because you gained your soul back. That is the type of gift that no friendship in this world can replace. There is a simple truth that we sometimes forget. Not everyone is meant to be in your spiritual journey. Some people come into your life only to test how much you're willing to hold on to your faith. And once that test is complete, Allah removes them. Not because you hate them, not because they were entirely evil, but because their presence no longer matched your direction. They were not part of your destination. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the confusion. Let go of the sadness. You were not abandoned. You were realigned. You were taken from a place of spiritual darkness into a path of spiritual light. That's not a punishment. That's a rescue mission from your Creator. Sometimes, the people you love can slowly damage your heart without ever saying a word. But Allah sees it. He sees the struggle inside you. He sees the nights you go to bed feeling empty. And He says, that's enough. And He removes you, so you can feel whole again. Don't run back just because you feel lonely. Don't chase people who bring your faith down. Trust the process. Trust the silence. Trust the one who knows what your soul truly needs. Your du'as were leading you to better things. There are times in life when you don't realize just how powerful your du'a is. You sit alone one night, tears silently rolling down your face, and you whisper from the depth of your heart, "Oh Allah, guide me to what's best, protect me from harm. Take me away from anything that's destroying me inside." You may not even remember the exact words, but Allah heard every letter, every heartbeat, every pause. And from that moment, things started to change. You may not have understood it at first. Suddenly, the people you used to laugh with became distant. The group you once loved began to feel different. The connection started to fade. You felt like they were slowly moving away from you, or you from them. And naturally you wondered, why? What happened? Did I do something wrong? But dear soul, what happened was not a punishment, it was an answer. Allah was answering your dua, not in the way you expected, but in the way your heart needed. You asked for guidance, and Allah began clearing the path. You asked for peace, and He removed what was causing your unrest. You asked for light, and He took away the shadows you didn't even notice. This is how loving and wise your Lord is. Even when you don't understand the silence, even when you feel confused by the distance, He is working on your behalf. Most people think that when a dua is answered, something new will suddenly enter their life. But often, the first stage of a dua being answered is that something unhealthy leaves. And yes, that can be painful. You may miss the comfort, you may miss the laughter, but deep inside, your soul starts breathing again. And that's when you know your prayer reached the one who never lets pain go to waste. Think back. How many times did you ask Allah to give you a sign, to purify your heart, to bring you closer to Him? These aren't small du'as, these are life-changing prayers. And when you make sincere dua, something powerful happens. Allah begins to rearrange your life. Sometimes that means removing people who no longer fit the future He has planned for you. Sometimes that means ending relationships that were built on weak foundations. And sometimes it means being left alone so you can grow without noise, without pressure, and without distractions. In your loneliness, you may feel forgotten by people. But in reality, you are being remembered by Allah in a way that's far more meaningful. He is setting you up for something better, something stronger, purer, and more beautiful. He's not just giving you what you ask for, He's giving you what you didn't even know to ask for. That is the beauty of trusting your du'as. You don't have to understand how everything will unfold. You just need to believe that when you asked Allah sincerely, He began the process, one step at a time. And the first step was taking you away from what could destroy your soul. At first, you may feel like you lost something. You might feel lonely, confused, and even broken. But give it time. Slowly, the fog will lift. You'll start to feel peace again. You'll smile without forcing it. You'll pray with presence. You'll wake up with purpose. You'll find yourself closer to your Creator, and that closeness will give you a joy that no friendship ever gave you. You didn't lose anything. You were being led, step by step, by the one who knows your soul better than you know yourself. And He chose to answer your dua in the most beautiful way possible. Not by adding noise, but by giving you silence. Not by adding people, but by giving you space. Not by making you busy, but by giving you time to come back to Him. So never doubt that your dua worked. It may not have brought you the people you expected, but it brought you closer to the one who answers when you call, the one who heals when you break, the one who loves you even when the whole world turns its back. Now you see, not every disconnection is a loss. What looked like rejection was really redirection from Allah. The people you cried over, the group you begged to stay in, they were never holding your destiny. Allah was. He removed what you thought you needed, just to give you what your soul truly needed: peace, clarity, and a path back to Him. So don't regret the people who walked away. Be grateful that your Creator pulled you out before you drowned. Better things are coming, better people are waiting, and your soul, now lighter and free, is ready to grow again.